In a book, Juju in My Life by J.H. Neal, the author shares his experiences with mystical powers while living in Ghana, where he worked as the chief investigations officer for 10 years until 1962. Neal, who is English, encountered these mystical forces firsthand and even had to rely on them at times, something not many Europeans can relate to or believe can happen in Africa. One story he tells is about the construction of a new modern harbor in Tema, near Accra. Mysteriously, materials and equipment started disappearing. Neal was called in to look into it. The project was overseen by European supervisors, and he advised them on improving security to prevent theft. As he was leaving, one of the supervisors mentioned a particular tree that was causing them a lot of trouble. Curious, Neal checked it out and found this small tree standing alone in a big area where everything else had been cleared away. The supervisor explained that heavy machinery had failed to remove that tree. The African foreman claimed it was a magic tree, and the only way to get rid of it was if the spirit residing in it decided to leave. They called in a traditional priest or diviner, who requested a sacrifice of 3 sheep, 3 bottles of gin for the spirit, and a fee of £100. Once the sheep were sacrificed and the offerings made, the diviner acted as a medium and talked to the spirit, convincing it to move to a different tree. Once the ritual was complete, the European supervisor planned to use tractors and bulldozers to uproot the tree, but the diviner suggested that a few African laborers could handle it instead. To everyone's surprise, especially the Europeans, the laborers pulled the tree out effortlessly, leaving the African bystanders quite satisfied. As Neal continued to have these mysterious experiences, he became convinced that there was definitely something to the mystical forces and the beliefs surrounding them. He started facing attacks from those practicing magic and had to find ways to protect himself. In one chapter, he describes how his enemies sent their magical forces to harm him. Fortunately, he was already shielded by protective medicine from African experts, so he didn't get hurt. Instead, the mystical power caused 2 large trees outside his house to split apart. He only experienced an itching sensation on his body, which couldn't be treated in the hospital, but was cured by a traditional medicine man. In another incident, a magician sent a snake to attack him. This snake showed up while Neal and 2 African servants were examining a cobra they had just killed outside. However, this second snake was actually a magic snake. As it approached the house, it suddenly stopped, as if it hit an invisible barrier. Neal noted that this was exactly where the protective medicine had been buried around his home. When they saw the snake, the servants recognized it as a magic snake, so poisonous that there was no antidote for its bite. They warned him that it wouldn't bleed if it was killed, but Neal didn't believe them. So, the servants grabbed long knives and chopped off the snake's head. To Neal's shock, no blood came out of the magic snake at all.